Hi Tammy. How you doing? I should say Fairy. I try to use everybody's user handle name to not give out private information. How you doing? Glad to see you. Mixed answers on the possibility. Shane, I know several Shanes. Shane who? I'm getting mixed answers on the possibility of pass-through tax liability. Connecting consciousness. Maybe. I mean, I follow like a lot of people. I'm following like 5,000 people or something like that. If he's on TikTok. There's an interesting possibility of you, my boy, been reading up on many more laws, man. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You can spend the rest of your life reading them. Yeah, no. Yeah, there's a lot of people that preach the good word. Let's talk about it. Hey. Let's talk about it. We can talk about anything y'all want. Most people only want to talk about that money, though, you know. But I'm open to talk about nature, spirit, or commerce. Any combination thereof. Get mixed answers on possibility of passing tax liability on rental payments. We might be professional at this question. Right out the door. Out the door. What is up with everybody? It is Friday. What's up with a neutral face guy? Alright, the last two messages, like neutral face and guy. Like, when am I supposed to do that? What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah, herbs and are very, very good, and they're not. Nature can't be patented. But that's the real medicine right there. You're talking about herbs and plants and stuff. Nature encompasses everything natural. It's not just that herbs. Got another question about commerce too, though. When dealing with court matters, if I cite Supreme Court cases into evidence, yeah. So it's called annotated statutes are really what you want. So an annotated statute is basically what is summed up over a court case. So because there's like billions of court cases that goes on, lawyers look for the annotated statutes. That's the gold. That is what the sum and takeaway of the court case is. So when you know, Hall versus Raleigh or something, you know, the annotated statute would be, during this court case, freedom to exercise, right of movement, blah blah blah. It'll tell you like what it sums up the court case. So those are the golden nuggets that you want to look for. Annotated statutes. Going to go out and pick my purple dead. That's cool. Heck yeah. I don't know what a purple dead needle is, but it sounds awesome. I wish I knew more about herbs and like plants. Like I'm learning planting now. Like I'm starting to get into like greenhouses, and I learned after year 1 that I would have to like designate all of my land to growing food if I wanted to even try to build subsistence farming for myself and my kids and stuff. Like, cause like just I'm vegan, so like me eating a salad, like I would smash an acre of freaking collard greens in one setting, like, cause I'm like a 200-pound rabbit. It's Friday. So everybody into Murdoch versus Penn. There's too many court cases to follow. If you have to quote, no state shall convert a liberty. Yeah, I have heard that. Absolutely. That sounds familiar. You know, it's weird. Like, you could give me lyrics to a song, and I know the lyrics, but I could not tell you the artist. I couldn't tell you the name of the song. I could tell you when it was made, like any of that stuff. But you tell me the words, I got it. Yeah, that's cool. Freeze framed? Does that mean that it's skipping? Freeze framed? I'm sorry. If I'm skipping on y'all, I look like I got a good signal. Crime, can I use... Oop, what did I miss? Yeah, crime. Yeah, you can use so each state is set up where they respect each other's laws. Hi, Veronica. Each state is basically set up to respect each other state's laws. There's actually like a I think it's in the Constitution or something. I don't know where it's. Like I said, I'm good with the words, but when it comes to like the codes and stuff, I it's hard. You can put. Oh, that sounds good. So I actually eat dandelions. Thanks, Veronica TGIF, for real though. I appreciate the love. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but there's like a lot of chemtrails that get sprayed. So that's part of why I wanted to start a greenhouse to protect it from the chemtrails. But I think the nanoparticles get into everything no matter what. But when it rains, I didn't want it going into the soil and into the plant to try to reduce that. And so I'll eat a dandelion straight off the ground. I'll make sure there ain't no bugs in it or anything, and I'll just eat the yellow, like chew all the yellow off. But again, it kind of sucks that we're all getting sprayed by these chemicals. Veronica, you number one as usual. Thanks for all the likes. You've probably sent 1,000 of them. Everything I deserve for sure. Gonna be crazy, gonna be wild. The root is like a carrot on a dandelion. For real? Or are you talking about like the other plants? What was it? Creeping Charlie, and or are you talking about dandelions? I really wish I knew more about like herbs that grew in the yard. I've heard that you can use every part of the dandelion, like it's great, and pharmaceutical companies, the pesticide companies use the dandelion as a weed to try to perpetuate the petroleum-based medication that they've pushed on everybody. Yay, got on my live, Sunflower. Hi, nice to see you. You caught me. It's just so much easier to like talk to y'all on lives than it is to make a video. So I'll make a video and it'll have 60, 70, 80,000 views, and then I'll have 2,000 people with questions that I have to answer individually, and then they have questions, and I try to help everybody out, and it's just easier to get information to y'all through the lives. So I try to do that a little more than just make a video here and there for y'all's references. Awesome, yes. I suggest, like I said, it sucks with the chemtrails, but I don't know how to avoid it unless we figure out who's actually doing it. I don't know if it's the UN or who, but who, who. UCC is international. It's actually, you could consider it common law because all of the corporate states have codified the UCC, incorporated in. Mullein can be smoked, and you can make tea out of it. That sounds awesome. Heck yeah. I need to get like a good, I actually bought some books in case like crap hits the fan, just to like learn how to like eat like a true rabbit, like out in the garden, like in my area, like what's actually edible. And I know there's ways you can like rub it on your skin and make sure it doesn't make you break out, and then you can do your tongue. And I don't know, when I said it's codified in all the states, Canada is not UCC. I don't know, I don't know what their version of UCC is, but it is international, so they probably have a version of it. I think it's been pretty much agreed upon. I don't know if it's like a Hague thing or what, but it is copywritten private codes. So I never try to use the actual codes, and I guess that's part of why I don't remember all the codes, because I always omit the codes or put them in a box if I ever use them. I just use the words because they can't patent the words. I saw someone find it. Very cool. Oh. Have you ever tried Harataki? I think I have. I think that's the stuff that I actually took some and it made me feel like I was freaking blitzed, and then I could never get that feeling again. It's like chasing, you know. But yeah, Harataki, I took it as a powder form, I think, and I coughed it up once. It came out like cinnamon powder. Yeah, I think Canada, I think the whole world uses UCC. I know that each individual U.S. state has codified it, and I think it's respected internationally throughout the world as the common law for every corporation out there. But I haven't done enough research to verify like Australia UCC or Britain's UCC, or, you know, if it's all just blanketed across. I just know it's each U.S. state is classified as a nation, and they have all codified it in. And that's why, like, even the presidents of any state can't interfere with a UCC 1 because it's international. It's bigger than just one corporation. Walmart self-check, exchange my labor without compensation. Yeah, so I think you had asked this last time. Walmart self-check, exchange my labor without compensation. It's really confusing what you're trying to say, man. Or woman or person. Sorry, it's hard to tell from that little logo. Person in blue. Cool green beans. So Walmart self-check, exchange my labor. Are you talking about like you are working for the corporation called Walmart, and you're trying to say that you don't have to like pay taxes or something? Filing a UCC, if you want to use it, you can. It's a very powerful tool. Like I said, it's international. It can't be undone, but you have to have a private agreed upon contract between both parties that are on that, the creditor and the debtor. And it's a good way to register secured collateral on a financial instrument. But you want to click non-UCC to make it private. And then you also want to make sure that you understand that it's private copywritten, and you're giving up jurisdiction to a foreign entity. Maritime law is not common law, no. And you could say UCC, but see, some people will claim that common law is the common law of the land, and UCC has been codified by every single state. So some people will say that UCC is the common law that is used, but it's really code, so it's not really law. But there's 3 jurisdictions that play nonstop all around us, land, air, and sea, and you can invoke any one of them you want. Still, that's not who we are. Solo Chill. It's a pretty cool handle. Got my water. Not drinking a 40, but I'll probably have some wine later. Yeah, if you're, it's you don't have to know all three, but the more knowledge is better. The power, especially when someone's coming from. I'll give you an example. You can judges do not want you to remain in admiralty, which is weird because they're in admiralty. But judges do not want you to remain in admiralty when you try to come in the bar, because then they are fully liable in their capacity to be sued very easily. How do you only ask questions in court? Give me an example. Ask me a question and I'll answer it by asking a question. Beautiful people. Give you a follow. So if you DM me, and then like we have good dialect, I'll usually follow back, depending on where we go. I have had a few crazies. For some reason, TikTok won't allow me to block people. I had to actually report a guy because he sent on one of my videos, he sent like 28 different messages and was saying that he completely disrespects me. But like it was like he was drunk or something. I don't know. But I wasn't allowed to block him anymore, which is weird. TikTok's been messing with my stuff. You and I around the same page, brother. Oh, same age maybe, or page or age. I'm a respectful gentleman. Awesome, dude. Well, pleased to meet you, buddy. So if I was to follow UCC1, will that give me power of attorney over that trust? So you're following some false rabbit trails on the secured party creditor, which is creditor debtor, which is the false banking dialect. You want to be in trust. Everything's in trust. You want to be the beneficiary or the grantor. The straw man is created and controlled by the state that it was registered in and cannot be taken out of their jurisdiction ever, unless you want to reincorporate it or transfer the corporation into another bankrupt dead entity like Egypt or Japan or France or something like that. They allow you to start doing business and move the corporation to another international location. There's a lot of benefits to using the U.S. citizen if you want. It's just a corporation. You don't have to use it, But you people that try to claim ownership or control over it just don't understand how things work. You are one of the beneficiaries of the trust, but the state claims the main beneficial title. They have the equitable title, the main title. Using the straw man is a beneficial use because it's a limited liability franchise bankrupt corporation. So it's kind of like a shield to do commerce without in the world, and they allow you to do certain things, like you can express a probate trust with it, you can discharge debt in the public with it, you can claim 1/10 of the estate on the private side with it. Like there's a lot of benefits to being using that entity if you want, or you can just dock it, set it on the not sail the seas of commerce with it, create your own vessel, or create a national corporation, or however you want to get around. I learned this from a lot of masters, a lot of books, a lot of times, a lot of mistakes. I was, like most people, dedicated to trying to figure out the matrix and how to break free from it. And after 13 years, I found out that I was free the whole time. How do I only ask questions? Did you ever ask me a question? How do I only ask questions in court? What would be a good example? That was literally asking a question to your question and playing it back on you. What would be a good example? He who creates owns. That's correct. You did not create your birth certificate. Yes, right. Absolutely, 100%. I soaked my seeds. Awesome. So, for germinating, this is the first year I didn't germinate like I normally do. Normally I put it inside of a a paper towel inside of a Ziploc and let it sit there for a week or so, and they'll all start sprouting, and then I'll pull the champions out and like plant those. But this year, for the first time, I put them all in dirt because I bought like all this expensive dirt, but I've noticed I've had to water it a lot more because since it's not trapped in the Ziploc, like water evaporates a lot quicker. Because if you make a statement, you're in there, you're deposing yourself. You're taking a position when you make a statement. When you ask questions, you are in the neutral king's seat position. The subject answers questions, not the master or not the king. The king does not answer questions. Like all I do is make statements on here, just serving y'all. But when you're trying to maintain sovereignty, you always want to come ask questions to reserve your sovereignty. That's cool. Yeah, state national ID, authenticate it through the Secretary of State, but make sure you don't give up jurisdiction to the notary that seals it. Y'all sunk can re-dry these to save to all. So I added more and more. Oh, yeah, all sunk. Choose to get educated and become sovereign, do you think? Yes, absolutely. If we all did, but it won't happen because we're all basically like electrical bags of water, and we always water and electricity wants to take the path of least resistance, and learning how to free yourself is like a against the stream type of path, and everybody is comfortable being taken care of, allowing the state to govern them. Nobody wants to read, nobody wants to educate themselves. They want to party, they want to know what Lil' Kim's doing with her baby daddy's toothbrush and stuff on TV. They don't care about what's actually going on in the world, so they just want to be kind of in a daze. Even if asking permission, I don't know what that means. This question, yeah, asking the question throws the ball back on them. That's right. It's like passing the ball. It's a game. It's a court game. Good first 1 to 2 books to start learning. Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook and As a Man Thinketh. We're just throwing the ball back and forth. Wise. That's great. That's right. Fruit from a Poisonous Tree is good. I haven't read it all, but I've heard it's really good. There's so much. Part of the issue is we all have our own path. Even though we're all one and we're all in this together, we all have kind of our own individual path and personalities, and so it's hard to try to say what's the answer, like everybody. And that's what I spend my time doing, is just kind of helping y'all individually on one-on-one. And that is what equity is called. Equity is basing every single case off of the merits and judgments of each individual person. Legal is the complete opposite of equity. Legal is just basically like, what does the letter of the, what is this? I don't care who you are, what your name is, where you're from. It says I'm charging you $1,000 next. That's how courts operate. They go through the legal process of just everybody stamped, and you're just a dead entity that means nothing. What do you do when a judge gets frustrated with you throwing questions at them? So you always want to try to move them to the private. So you don't want to try to infect the public with sovereignty knowledge. He will get more frustrated if you try doing this with a line of people behind him. So it is suggested to say something like, should we handle private matters in the public like this? And normally he'll say, what? And you can repeat yourself, would it be wise to handle private matters in the public like this? And then he'll say something like, sit down and shut up. And then you say something like, would you like me to sit down? And he will know he's dealing with somebody that is of importance. And then he'll funnel all the sheep out, and then you and him can be in kind of one-on-one, and it'll be a much better experience than trying to, like, my third sovereignty in court video. Like, you don't want to do those things with a lot of people behind you, like start trying to hand out a bunch of W-9s and stuff like that will frustrate the judge. You want to do that in when it's like one-on-one and very, very few people around. Can you still rent, purchase apartments or houses as a sovereign? Yes, you can If you can, anything that you can do and have been doing, you can do as a sovereign. You just need to understand that your U.S. citizen is submitting to benefits and privileges by doing contracts and certain things with other people. Best way to let the judge know that you know and not jeopardize. I think I just gave that example, if I'm not mistaken. You can ask if he's giving an order to. Orders are not every order is an offer. So he could say, charging you to 300 days. You can say, I conditionally accept that offer upon proof of something. It's all an offer, and everything that happens in a court case stands as a fact as if it's not rebutted. So if the judge says, I saw you moonwalking with Michael Jackson yesterday, and nobody says anything, it stands as a fact. You have to rebut. So if he tries to say an order like, you have to pay this, you could say, I'll pay it if you can prove that there's lawful money backed by some form of substance. That is a conditional acceptance. You don't have to say, I conditionally accept each time. You can say if. If is the conditional acceptance, the shorter version of it. Instead of saying the whole conditional accept, I conditionally accept. Yes, you continue on with asking questions when you're alone with the judge. You do not ever want to give up jurisdiction, because the moment you start answering questions, now I'm not going to say that there is never a time to answer questions. You get going along far enough, he basically knows that, because it's hard when two people are asking questions back and forth. You get going long enough, and you can talk like I'm talking to you. Like, he'll basically know you're sovereign. You're in here. You're the boss. We're just I'm your administrator, and you can talk to your servant normally. It takes a little bit of time before he can understand, and you get him under you, because as it starts off, it's like he's playing the public role to protect the public, and he knows that you've been taught that you are the servant. And he tries to get you under the jurisdiction of admitting you're the U.S. citizen. Spoke to a lawyer who said, stay away from national. Yeah, national's just a corporation. You can invoke a national status if you want in court, or you can just stay as the ultimate sovereign above all that stuff. It's just a corporation you can be the representation for the national. You can be the representation for the U.S. citizen and not give up jurisdiction. Yeah, any lawyer is not taught. They're not taught the stuff that I know. It is what it is. Their loyalty is to the court and to the public. They are not loyal to you. You are the last one on their list. So, what crimes wouldn't this work for? Any crime where there is an injured party. If there is a complainant on the other side of like I said, it's about a balancing act. Usually they're just bringing legalese, codes, laws, and statutes, and you're not bringing in anything. So it's always tilted towards them as the winner. But when you do your own process and laws, you can win. But if there is someone on the other side that has actually been hurt or damaged, and I'm not talking about infraction on a code, like you were, they caught you going 16 and a 12 or something, no, there was no injured party. They're trying to create commerce from codes and try to create a debt from basically nothing. But they do have a right, a legal right, because you've signed away a lot of benefits and privileges by accepting the state license, by operating their vehicle and stuff like that. Fear-mongering. Protect this man at all costs. Can you work? Yeah, you can. Sovereigns don't have to work. So typically, you can't really wear a sovereign's hat if you're working for profit. You can definitely, like, I'm a servant. I'm serving all y'all right now. I'm being a servant, but You can barter, you can trade. You just can't work for profit on using Federal Reserve notes. But I suggest, like, true sovereigns really don't have to work. But there's many definitions of sovereign. A sovereign could be one who controls property. A sovereign could be one who can, I control this flesh frame that I have. Like, I'm claiming this. I'm claiming the sovereign dominion over this vessel, and I control it. Like, I can pinch my fingers and smack myself, and like nobody's stopping me. I'm kicking my butt. Loyalty to the bar. That's right. Lawyers' loyalty to the British Crown. Yeah, and watch the flag. Thanks for appreciating me. How long do you think it takes to become educated? Yeah, think about it as a kid. So once a child starts learning, how long does it take before they can talk? So I've been doing this for 13 years. After 4 years, you can start to talk some of this stuff really easily. You can start talking it in the very beginning, but when someone asks you a question or trips you up, you're going to be like goo goo gaga. You just ain't gonna know the right response. Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Who do you ask to set off, settle, and close the account? Depends on what account it is. Not to get back into this, but if you buy a used car, is the MCO worthless? The MCO is controlled by the state. The used car was registered to the state and is forever theirs. That VIN number is registered to them. You can get a duplicate MCO, but it is basically just a worthless title. I mean, it looks cool. It's like authenticating your birth certificate. Like, it's just cool to have, but once the car is their property. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that your mom's doing that. Yeah, it sucks, man. Or, I'm here to try to help if I can. Yeah, you can't get it. You can decommission the car, but it is forever theirs. Like, it is backing the debt of the United States. So you can say goodbye to that. That's SS gone at that point. You can take land out of their property or out of their jurisdiction because they never had true title to it from the king. They didn't get the patent. I do not file taxes. My U.S. citizen files taxes when and if it has a tax liability, because it's all about accounting. You're not taxed on who you are taxed on how you do business. And when my straw man has a tax liability because it works because it's engaged in a for-profit commerce company, and then it pays taxes. If it's engaged in non-profit, it doesn't pay taxes. You can claim 1/10 at a time through the DTC or your Cesta K trust. Lawyer was aware of all this, but still saying so. And that's why when you go to court and you try to get a remedy from the judge, he's dealing in legal. He's barely ever coming from equity or common law or trust. He's usually dealing in maritime admiralty. And in maritime admiralty, the captain of the ship has extraordinary powers over life and death. So if you've given up jurisdiction to the judge of your U.S. citizen, he's the captain of that vessel, and he is basically charged to take control of it and get the bonds and the money from it and turn it over to the state. You're not going to get a good remedy in there. Of course, if two people come in, somebody's going to win, if you got a civil dispute, but typically, trying to hope that, it goes in your favor when you go before a judge is not, it's not going to be favorable. To set off, settle, and close, so you're the authorized, to set off, settle, and close a court case, you're the authorized representative of the U.S. citizen to set off, settle, and close the account with your signature. You just say, where do you want me to sign to set off, settle, and close the court case? If you haven't already settled the matter, you can do your own private administrative procedure in order to set off, settle, and close the case, because if you get an agreement between you and the other party, there's no dispute in the public. Can I have your opinion? Hi, Queenie. So my opinion on David Straight is that he didn't watch my traveling videos, because it is suggested that you inform the DOT and every jurisdiction that you are traveling through that you are national. You have the true title to your car. Travel. He knows about traveling around with silver, and then you want to be very respectful to the pirates, or the police, because their duty is to protect and keep the public safe, and they're going to inspect any unknown foreign objects on the land. But so typically, if you do all that, your vessel is in. You put your car in a private sovereign trust and stuff like that. You have the true title to it. They can't mess with the vehicle. But during times of war, they have a right to inspect any foreign object to make sure it's not engaged in pirate activity. So they want to know if you're driving around with TNT and have a bunch of Prazis or whatever. And people try to do they crack their windshield just a centimeter, and they're like, yeah, you talking to, I'm the boss, dog, whatever. It's not respectful. They're people. They're just people with a job, and their job is very dangerous, and they are trying to protect the public roads. Like, if I had someone driving down my street shooting a machine gun, I would really want the police to stop that sucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have it both ways, and that's why there is not a do not detain list. When you get, and that was one of the funniest things, that I would listen to David Straight, and he's like, yeah, I get put on a do not detain list, but he's always talking about how he's going after cops that stop him and arrest him and stuff and do that. And I'm like, I don't, what? But if you have everything established and you do your records properly and you have a fee schedule and you basically serve the police officers very kindly, and you're polite, and you're always asking questions and not giving up jurisdiction, and you allow them to inspect your vehicle, because during times of war they're allowed to, and they infringe on your rights or your property or harm you, and you go after their bonds and cause them a lot of money, because you can charge a lot of money for them holding you up in your time or spending the night in jail or whatever, and then it's a whole nother process to get through the jail system while maintaining your sovereignty, and you cause them a lot of money. That insurance company is not going to want you to do business with them anymore. So they will basically tell the cops to leave you alone, because you are bad for business. You are causing, it is more problems to charge cost the bonding company $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 each time a cop stops you, than it is for them trying to say, hey, your tail light's out. It's my tail light, dog. That ain't the state's tail light. That's mine. I'll get it fixed. I appreciate it. So gold and silver and Bitcoins. I don't know about the Bitcoin stuff. I'm kind of up in the air about it, because I've heard it's ran by the CIA for black operations, and it has a back door. That's how they catch all the traffickers. Because everybody thinks they're trading in actual cryptography wallets or whatever, and it actually has a traceable algorithm to it. I've actually witnessed this happen with some court cases where images of questionable type of pornography are traded or moved around, and it is actually the CIA and FBI releasing it, and on the movie or the picture behind it, they have a tracker, so they can actually watch everywhere it goes, and they mark in a database everybody who's looking or using that image, and they can build basically a portfolio and know who is into a legal type of sex acts or stuff like that. So a national does not pay state taxes. A U.S. citizen does. A U.S. citizen is a federal employee for using the Social Security number. You can take your land by getting an allodial title through a land patent process. How much you have in your trust? Which trust? I've got a lot of trusts. Sorry. When it comes to law, you got to be very specific. I filed a correction status with the court. Is that a good move? I don't know what your correction status would be. You can choose any status you want. You can file anything you want in court. How can I get rid of personal loan? What do you mean by like discharging it or setting it off? You can get a private agreement between the parties that the debt is not valid. Hi, Queenie. I just told her earlier I try not to give out like personal names or information. Settle, sell, and close a criminal case. Yeah, criminal case you can sell if it has to. There's a bid bond, a performance bond, and a payment bond that needs to be satisfied. Do you have a D loan? No, I do not. I do not have a driver's license or a motor vehicle registration. The U.S. citizen does, and they belong to the state. They are not mine. If I had the title to my car, I wouldn't travel around with that stuff. I would definitely be using my national ID and traveling in the Republic. You do not have to get a passport before accessing your trust. I'm active. Oklahoma is back to... I don't get what it means I'm active. Oklahoma is back to Indian territory. Oh, you're native. That's cool. Yeah, you can give up your sovereignty through contracts. Like, it depends on... I've heard what amount of national... Press and hold the comment you want to pin. It depends on what amount of nationality you are. I think you have to be over a certain percent to actually claim that you're native, and then it depends on what. Like I said, you're not taxed on who you are. It's on how you conduct business. It's nothing personal. It's just a business transaction. The status change took me 13 years to figure out that I was free the entire time. Now, you can let the world know if you want. You can put it on a piece of paper and tell them who you are and start establishing a record of what you claim as your status. Yes, your land could become your country, but if you get the patent, you want to be careful, because then you can't use the trash collection services, the water, the sewer, the pipes, the police, the ambulance, the fire department, and paying taxes. You won't have to do that. That's a benefit and privilege. But once you get the land patent, you'll have to inform the county that you are basically to remove it from their records. Say that you hold the true title now and you're infringing on your private property. I think only you can press and hold the comment you want to pin. I don't know if everybody can do that. I don't know. Because only the moderators, the two moderators that I have. You have to create your own national ID. The Secretary of State says they will not issue any paper on that. Card holding member, but this stuff is super racist. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it is. A lot of we lived in a very racist upbringing as far as like the laws and stuff. Like, it was great segregation, and they're still doing it to this day. It's all part of the ploy to separate us, because they don't want us united. So they are constantly pushing for winners and losers and separation of race, when we're all really one and we're all the same. Even though, our flesh looks different and stuff, but when it comes to equity and spirit, we're all one and the same. Many back in the day didn't sign up. Yeah, well, they tricked a lot of Indians, a lot of natives into signing up stuff by pushing the pen for them, or forcing them to sign up or give up, or beating them or kill. Like, it was. The USA has not been very a very good company throughout its entire history. And I'm actually going to make a true history video soon. Like, I could make one of those videos like almost every other day, but I need them to die down, because I get thousands and thousands of people with questions, and I don't want to there's people that need help. What's this? No, what are you talking about, girl? I know I don't have the ability to I don't have that ability as a moderator. What ability don't you have? You talking about pinning? Color is only an illusion. That's right. Yeah, we're all breathing the same stuff. We're all bleeding the same stuff. Now, there is a difference in our flesh. Like, we look, in the false light. But if you close your eyes, like, we're all the same. Like, close your eyes, wake up. That's all you got to do to wake up, is close your eyes. What do you mean on file your paperwork? What paperwork you trying to file, buddy? We are all one. Not trying to be annoying with repeat questions. How to satisfy 3 bonds in a criminal case, or how to. So the bonds get started after the trust has been expressed and it has been executed, and then the bonds get started. They're not maturing or anything, but they start getting filled out as soon as the case is open. They're basically like, the bonds are ready to go. So that's why you always want to nip it in the butt right at the beginning before they start getting those gears going, because it's really, really hard to try to do anything once the trust has been expressed, the parties have been identified as the grantor, the beneficiary, and the trustee, and then the bonds are starting to mature. She has it? Yep. Oh, have you been able to pin something? Oh, we got a pin. Can a green card holder become sovereign or state national? So we're all sovereign off the jump. There's a lot of different definitions of sovereignty. We're all like I'm sovereign over this vessel. A green card holder can become naturalized here in the U.S. to become a U.S. citizen, which then, aka 14th Amendment, gives you dual citizenship, which you can then dissolve your state citizen and turn it to a national. What's the correct way to set off a car payment? There's three main ways. You can do private contract, you can discharge in the public, or you can discharge in the private. In a court to deal with a bylaw fine, do I stay in the private? Staying in the private, there's benefits to both. The public has limited liability, and it's basically everything in the public is bankrupt and discharged, and the state said they'd take care of it for you. So there's benefits to being in the public, in the bankrupt, and there's in the private. But if you're going to be in the private, you need to know how to handle yourself as a sovereign to walk around and handle yourself properly. Hey, how's it doing? Yeah, I'm keeping it coming. Yes, I'm trying to answer y'all's questions to help. I was telling everybody, it's so much easier to talk on these lives than through the each video I make. I get a lot of questions on becoming a state national. So watch my videos. I have playlists. You can just jump straight to commerce, but I suggest watching the playlist on foundation, nature, spirit, and then commerce. And it'll explain a lot of your questions. Now, the second appearance, they've already kind of started to get more information on the bonds. And you always want to do special private priority appearance, not general. I can send you a link. Look up bondsforthewin.com. Thank you, I appreciate it. Namaste. I used to think first time I ever read Namaste, I thought it said Namaste. I was like, what does Namaste mean? And it's Namaste. Is a person on Medicare paying for the insurance, can they keep it if they change their status? Absolutely. Because your U.S. citizen is receiving the benefit. Now, you can't try to say that you're a U.S. citizen. You can't, in commerce, you're presumed to know that the trust exists when you're benefiting the right and exercising the privilege of a trust. So you can't try to say that your U.S. citizen is enjoying the public benefits of whatever program and then try to say that it's sovereign. It's not. It's first of all, it's controlled by the state, and second of all, you're using benefits and privileges to a program, giving up rights and titles. Did I catch up? How do I learn what you know? Meet your straw man's, it's a start. it takes a lot of time. Just like any kid and child, when they're being reborn, you have to figure everything out for the first time. So I've been studying nature for 40 years. I've been involved in it. I've started spiritual stuff 26 years ago, but really didn't start learning it until 13 years ago. And then I've been doing commerce for 10. And each time, each level, I'm as a brand new baby trying to learn for the first time. And it takes time in each realm to understand how to operate properly. Come back. Where did I go? Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Baby, come back. I caught up. It must be Friday. Y'all chilling. I can't believe I caught up on questions. Woo! I'm always ready. The Reddit hole? Yeah, there's a lot of Reddits. Always ready to take a life again. Happy Friday, everybody. You can DM me, and then if I like you, we can go from there and start building a beautiful relationship together. We can frolic on the sands of California together. That was a shot, and I don't know if anybody caught that. How can I get... All right, guys, says he's been studying 40 years, but looks 25. I've been studying nature. However old you are is how long you've been studying nature. That's why I said I've been studying nature since I was born. The moment I started breathing and try to start figuring out how to walk and stuff, I've been involved in nature studies for 40 years. However old you are is how long you've been involved in nature. But I am actually 40. And if I demonstrate sovereignty and ask to set off, settle, and close, will the judge dismiss? If you move the court properly, yes, you can set off, settle, and close an account. You want to have, remember, it's a charge, so there has to be some form of satisfaction on the charge. So you want to do your own private administrative procedure, or affect payment by pen or Federal Reserve notes or whatever. I'm trying. It's a full-time job setting people straight, believe me, because we all crooked. We all crooked. Yeah, celebrate. You've been studying nature for a very long time. What you trying to say? You old, but you don't want to admit it? If you don't need a license plate to travel, how would you... please watch my video on traveling and driving versus traveling. That will answer a lot of your questions. I suggest putting a plate similar to the local municipality that you're traveling in, as not to stick out, because you got to understand that the public is bankrupt and crazy, and you can't just travel around with a I Rule the World playing freaking Nas music blaring with 1,000-watt competition amps and speakers with guns and all this stuff and think that the cops aren't gonna, arrest you. You got to handle yourself properly. I will explain a little bit on the PAP, Private Administrative Procedure, a little more. There's a reason why I'm breaking it up over the course of 10 different videos, because it's powerful, and if you're not smart enough to put the puzzle pieces together, then you shouldn't be using it. And that's another reason why I don't actually do paperwork for people, because I'm not going to give anybody a loaded caliber rifle and say, have fun, cheers, because if you're not competent enough to handle and control yourself in proper manners, there's no way that I'm going to bestow that type of tools upon you. Yes, you can own guns, and you can invoke the Constitution that, hi Elizabeth, that is basically protecting that right. My windows with the yellows down. Yeah, FTP. That's right. Yeah, good luck with that, right? Yeah, I'm sovereign. I'm on a do not detain list, just running around with crazy. They can't see us in court. Only no paperwork. That's right. Only paperwork can appear in the world of the dead. You're as a felon, no, because a felon, if the U.S. citizen has gotten a felony, then the U.S. citizen cannot own guns. Alcohol and guns don't go together, but it seems like a really good idea at first. I guess guns are the topic of the day. I was just trying to say, don't try to learn all the stuff that I'm saying and think that you're not going to get. I'm gonna bestow a little more of the key of the PAP, the Private Administrative Procedure, on Sovereign in Court Part 4, which will be dropping this weekend. I said cheers. So if you're sovereign, are you under the republic? The Republican form of government, the sovereign republic state, is sovereign, and you can claim nationality. The national corporation that owes allegiance to the sovereign republic state is not sovereign. The national is not sovereign. You're sovereign. It is a corporation outside of the U.S. jurisdiction. You're the sovereign. The national is under the Republican sovereign state that trades in gold and silver. We're on the maritime law. Yes, there's a lot of maritime, even all the the islands on the road. When you ship something to somebody, when it comes in, it goes into a dock. There's a lot of everything's in admiralty, but you can invoke any jurisdiction you want. Can you own guns as a sovereign if the U.S. citizen is a felon? Yes, a sovereign has a protected right under the Constitution to own, I think, a gun, and you can invoke that Constitution, but not if you're belligerent in combat and not if you are the U.S. citizen. So you have to be able to understand what the U.S. citizen is and how not to be that if you are questioned, or any of your friends, because they can get jurisdiction over you real quick by getting your friends and family to say you're a U.S. citizen. Yeah, we are the negatives of becoming. Oh, what are the negatives? I thought it was weird. What are the negatives of becoming state and national? Not much. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's an invisible sovereign corporation that can hold title, and you're no longer a state citizen. So in the U.S., you have dual citizenship. You have U.S. citizenship and you have state citizenship, and you can dissolve the state citizen, turn it into a national corporation, which is outside the U.S. jurisdiction, and it is free and clear as long as you don't use a social security number and don't engage in public benefits with the national, or you're giving up jurisdiction. Share the life, share the knowledge. My girl, pumping that. That's a pretty good pen. Fight the power. No, I don't fight the power. Have you applied? What to say to Leo to let them know you're sovereign? I don't know what Leo means. What to say to Leo to let them Leo. I don't know what that abbreviation means. Sorry. I know, and it's hard to type. I go on lives and it's so hard to type. This is part of why I'm doing lives, because I don't like typing and answering all y'all's questions. I just want to talk. It's just much easier. I'm pretty new to this stuff, but I just wanted to say I appreciate videos. Thank you so much. If you want to learn more, you can watch my playlist on my profile to try to assist in unindoctrinating the probably many years of the public fool system that has been graciously bestowed upon us of our great government. And they're supposed to be changing through Postal Service General, the jurisdiction, right? There's a postal service, there's a postal office, there's a postal, I'm not super versed on postal stuff. I learn stuff all the time. Today I just learned that the IRS actually owns its own zip code. I know that the zip codes are a false federal jurisdiction over the entire continent of the U.S., but I didn't know that because the IRS doesn't have a street number when you mail them. There's no street, it's just a zip code. And I was double checking on it, and the postal guy was like, yeah, they own that zip code. And I was like, wow, because I know that they, funnel funds through Puerto Rico and stuff like that to the creditors of the U.S., and it's all private. But I don't know what you mean by supposed to be changing through the Postal Service. I know that the Postal Service has its own bank, it has its own police. It's a very special sovereign jurisdiction that's backed by gold, and it's set that way so that if World War breaks out, communication outside of any jurisdiction can continue to commence. Yeah, I looked up David Straight. I was surprised that he got arrested. A lot of times cops will, and I've actually heard and seen this with my own eyes and ears, that cops and judges, even though you are right, will put you in jail or temporarily make a scene out of you in order to keep the public at bay because you're causing a lot of harm and damage teaching stuff like I do. So to make an example out of you, basically, if all of y'all are following me and love me and all this stuff, and then I go to jail, all of y'all will be like, well, that wasn't the right way, and then y'all go the other way. When I've literally heard, seen, and witnessed judges and cops, everybody say that you're right, but we're going to do this anyway because we want to make an example out of you. And if you don't like it, then we'll start lawsuits coming after your mother, your brother, your sister, your father, your grandmother, and you'll be fighting federal court cases for the rest of your life. So pick one. And it's kind of like, crap. I'll try to stand on what's right every time. Turns out that so my U.S. citizen, when it has a tax liability due, it pays taxes, and the U.S. citizen has a paycheck, and the U.S. citizen can then and does distribute money into a sovereign or two of my entities, which is outside of U.S. jurisdiction, and also goes to other things that, wherever you want to distribute it. I don't know what DSS is. Law enforcement officer, couldn't comment. Leo PD. Is that where Police Department? Law enforcement officers. Leo is law enforcement. Okay. Now I'm there. Sorry, I got you, Leo. I'm thinking lion. I'm thinking freaking constellations and stuff. I'm like, what's up with Leo? I'm trying to think about some past girlfriend that was Leo and stuff. Like y'all trip me up with the Leo. Do you have to call everyone to change SSN? No, you don't have to do any of that. You're still sovereign even if you have a U.S. citizen. You just need to understand how to say you're not that corporation and stand on it. Yeah, the indoctrination is hard, and that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, they're like, how do you talk like this? It takes time. Like, you can't just come out the gate running. And a lot of people get very confused when they start trying to open their eyes for the first time to this commercial world. It hurts their eyes. Then they start seeing a little more truth, and they go through emotions. They get angry. They get upset. They don't know what to do. And we all go through that. It's not normal, not unnormal. And then one of the downsides is we end up getting little parts of truth, and we think it's so cool because now we know that there's a matrix and we're the ultimate people, and then they end up getting not the full truth, and they get hurt. And that's why I started making these videos, because somebody said that you can just travel in your car without a license and go to engage in public commerce to get a paycheck and you're good. And I'm like, pump the brakes on that, sweetheart. Let's set the record right. I have so many trusts that I lose track of them. I have living trust. I have a non-revocable, revocable. I have a U.S. citizen trust. I have a national trust. I have trust for my kids. all kinds. It's just there's a lot of trust down the Yellow Brick Road. Yep, the Wizard of Oz, Yellow Brick Road. They took all the gold away, turned it to a corporation, and we ain't in Kansas anymore. Watch my video on state national to help. National versus. So for state national help, watch national versus citizen, then watch status, and then watch standing on my profile. Are taxes on your sweat equity wages? Oh, sweat equity legal? So my corporation, I'm accepting a public benefit by allowing my U.S. citizen to deal in public commerce, and I'm not. Through contracts, I'm not trading my labor or bartering my labor for silver or gold or for something else. It's receiving income. It's all just taxing terminology. So I'm not actually. I don't claim that taxes are a benefit and a privilege of a U.S. citizen. Sounds crazy, but the truth is taxes are a benefit and a privilege of a U.S. citizen. If you're going to use the U.S. citizen, you're going to have a Social Security lien on it. You're going to have a federal lien on it. You're going to have a state lien on it. You're going to have a healthcare lien on it, and you're going to start off with those 4 liens immediately. Now you can create your own trust to do business with, and that's going to have a higher tax bracket, but it won't have all those liens. If you want to engage in public commerce. For profit. Do you believe the white hats have taken control of our system? That's a tough question. There's always been 2 powers at play constantly. The way that I view the system, the way that I know it, I understand that the government works for us and they can step over those boundaries, and it is our job, unfortunately, because of lack of knowledge, we don't know how to do this, but it is our job to put them back into their place, aka, like I said, you can go after their bonds if you're harmed. You can do your own paperwork. But where we're all lacking in knowledge is that we all live in their property. We're operating their property. We're running around with their property, using their money, using their benefits and privileges, and the state is taking care of all of us. And then we want to go around and try to say, I'm sovereign. You can't mess with me. You're commingling. You're mixing up. You don't understand what you're doing. But I don't know about the system. I think the U.S. dollar is about to collapse in the next few years. At least it ain't gonna last more than 4 years. Basel IV compliance said all currency needs to be backed by some form of substance, and the U.S. dollar is not. It was the standard on the world for trading in oil, and that is, I think, since recently stopped. And the BRICS nations now have gold-backed currency. And they almost equal over 50% of the GDP, and once they get over 50%, I think they're going to control the game, all the BRICS nations. Yeah, the citizen pays, the U.S. citizen pays federal taxes, the state citizen pays state taxes. How to do commerce as a sovereign and not pay tax on wage. You can contract with any service provider any way you want. You can use Federal Reserve notes and negotiable instruments. You can use bills of exchange. You can trade in cattle. You can barter. You can do whatever you want. I've been paid in gold to dig something for somebody before. Yes, you can create your own currency. Absolutely, 100%. And U.S. companies probably won't accept that. You can try. You would have to basically find another sovereign that wants to contract in that manner, that wants to use y'all's own currency, and y'all can start just like it would be like an arcade system. When you go in an arcade, they have their own special little type of coins that are as good as money. That's what the U.S. is on a bigger stage. It's just a big corporation that has monopoly money that you can use inside the arcade game. It's all fake money. BRICS. The BRICS nations are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they've had a lot of other countries join with them. And before, when they first started, nobody was paying attention. But now that they own close to half of the global product, global and domestic product, everybody's looking now like, oh crap, because once they get over the 50% mark, they control the world's GDP. Then it'll basically be done. So I can't tell you what's going to happen with the white hats and the people that are sucking blood from young children and stuff like that. But there's definitely a battle going on. Gold will keep its value, absolutely. And there's also like a doctrine that you kind of have to use what the currency is of the land to, like when in Rome. But the sovereign republic trades in gold and silver coin. I prefer pre-1933 gold and silver coins when you're dealing with sovereign republic type of activities. So our bills are prepaid. The state's paying it. Whenever you use Federal Reserve notes, now a public benefit of the U.S. citizen is you can discharge it on the public side through the Treasury, through the alien property custodian, or you can do it on the private side using your private asset account. Thanks for the roses. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate you. Eyes open. Thank you. You got to close your eyes to see in this world. I've heard about micronations like Malaysia, or not micro. There's little micronations. Yeah, you can create your own micronation. Actually, it's highly suggested in order to be sovereign, but you need to know what you're doing to stake your own part of land. You want to learn about sustenance farming and bartering and trading, and just like we used to when we were actually smart. Crypto. My thoughts on crypto is. It seems like we're moving into the crypto world, and I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I've heard it's a great way to track. That's what basically I was telling y'all about Bitcoin was it has tracking, private secret tracking, and they watched where all of these elites were using it to traffic people, and they were tracking it, and that's how they were able to make all these arrests. And that's actually what I originally thought the pandemic was about. Is I thought that because during the pandemic they were making everybody locked down, everybody had to go home and stay, have a curfew and stuff, and there was so many arrests through Trump that Trump had set up to all these traffickers to get them put up in handcuffs. And I was like, that's what's really going on. But then it wasn't what was going on. There was more to it because it just kept going and stuff. And it was like, I don't know. But crypto is. It's just a form. It's a medium of exchange. It's just like using Federal Reserve notes. If to be honest with you, a lot of our banking is digital right now. We're trading digitally all the time anyway. You believe gold and silver is best way? All right, I answered that. They're at 38%. I thought they were close to 50. So 40%. They're at 40% now of GDP. That's getting close. Like I said, when they first started, it was down here. Now they're at 40%. So it's 40-60. Once they get up to 50, like 50-51, when you're dealing with a corporation, which they're all corporations, you get to that 51 mark, you control the company. So when you're looking at the world stage, when you get to 51% of controlling interest, like you're the boss at that point. Change is coming. Yes, it is. That is the only consistent is change. Dismiss debt. I don't think I said dismiss debt. So you can set off, settle, and close it, or you can discharge it. I don't know about dismiss it. That would just dismiss debt. So I was inviting me. I try to usually stay answering people's questions, and if somebody comes inviting with me, it'll just be like me and them talking. I prefer to talk one-on-one on the phone, instead of trying to interact with someone in this public venue side by side. What do you do when companies don't honor your negotiable instrument? They don't have to. Now, there is no such thing as involuntary servitude, so they can refuse anything. But if they refuse a negotiable instrument according to international commercial law, the debt doesn't exist. And I have the code somewhere. I'd have to find it. But if they keep the negotiable instrument, they're saying that the payment has been satisfied. If they give it back, they're saying that it doesn't exist. So, which one do you want? Pick one. On authentication paperwork, when they ask what country. Oh, are you talking about trying to take? Well, if you're trying to authenticate your birth certificate to relocate your corporation to another bankrupt entity, aka state or country, that's wherever you want to move. That's the only reason to do that. If you're going to set up shop in Japan or Egypt, then feel free to authenticate your birth certificate and tell them you're moving to Egypt. FedNow started recently. There's a lot of when TikTok started becoming very popular, there were a lot of influencers that were approached by companies that would pay them to push agendas. And that is why we're in part of the mess where we're at, is that because almost everybody only cares about money. So they'll take a couple $100, $200, $300, $400 to push agendas that other people want. And that's how everything works. And because of that, a lot of information gets screwed up on here. I don't know about putting a lien on a court case. You can do a grantee acceptance on a ticket, but I don't know about putting a lien on a court case, because the court case is just an account. So that would be like me writing like a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper, and you trying to say that you're going to put a lien on that account that I created. Like, you're not really doing much. You don't really want to put a lien on an account. You can claim it as collateral on for something, but I don't know about putting a lien on it. Precursor. Yes, we all have trusts. We have a U.S. citizen trust and we have a state citizen trust to start with. When you're engaged in commerce, anyway. Yes, you have to authenticate it to access your 1/10 of your estate on the private side through the DTC. You can DM me, Sov King, if you have my number. I apologize. I helped so many people. I don't remember their handles, because their handles are different than their username, which is usually different than their real name. So it's hard for me to remember everybody. I don't know about dumping Fed notes for bricks. I don't know how smooth of a transfer it's going to be from when the U.S. dollar fails. I think it's going to be a little bumpier than I'd like. And none of us have seen a currency fail before. We've seen 1933 when the U.S. claimed bankruptcy. But the currency didn't fail. This is a collapsing failure of of the world's reserved currency. This is the world's reserve currency that is getting ready to go down through the SS Biden. Captain, sink your ship now. But he's just a puppet working for somebody else anyway. Yeah, you can assign the court case if you claim the bid bond, the performance bond, and the payment bond. But you need to be on. You have to know those bond numbers and stuff, not just the court case. That's the underwriting of the court case. So you got the public side. That's just the public. There's always a private and a public side. It's like double entry bookkeeping. DM sent. Thank you, buddy. Detaining a sovereign it's not illegal, it's unlawful. There's a difference between legal and lawful. The cops have a right to try to verify and inspect and make sure you're not engaged in illegal or pirate activities that can harm people. And sovereigns try to get all upset at this, but you got to understand the way the system works and what's in place. You have to respect them and love them and treat them like your brother. Yes, there are cops that are freaking mean. Yes, I know normal people that are mean. Yes, there are cops that are nice. I know normal people that are nice. Yes, there are cops that are authoritative abusers. I know normal people that are normal. They're just people. So you got to treat them like they're your equal and you love them, but don't give up subject matter jurisdiction by answering questions or trying to admit you're a U.S. citizen. Are our trust accounts going to be dry and untouchable after Fed analysis? So, because the entire world's reserve currency is getting ready to switch over, and all everything is backed by our BC bonds, our Social Security bonds and stuff like that. I don't know what's going to happen when there's actually gold backing everything. I don't know if it's going to change the court systems. I don't know if it's going to change the processes, the way you can handle that's why it's been building up to this and taking a very long time. And I don't think it's going to be a real smooth transfer, because whenever you start something new software, new program, new anything, there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be issues, there's going to be blackouts, there's going to be freaking riots, and there's going to be things. It could be smooth, could be bumpy. I don't know. I'm prepared for a little bit more than a smooth transfer, and I suggest the same. So what do I put on the paperwork to send in because I don't want to move? What do you mean? What do you got? You got, why would you have to move? What's going on? You getting foreclosed on? The bill of particulars, a bill of particulars, I think, describes all the collateral and interest. I don't know how you'd get that for a court case. You could probably enforce that, and they'll probably just I've seen a judge say, "I'm going to handle the equity on this. I'm going to handle the equities on this case." I actually saw that on a public program. I couldn't believe it. Cool. Sorry, I'm reading a message. Oh, 17 messages. I thought I was caught up. Birth certificate authentication. What about the birth certificate authentication? So what do I put on paperwork to send in? Oh, on the birth certificate authentication. You just want to get it. For what are you trying to do? You're trying to claim a 10th of your estate. If you want to learn a little bit about that, watch my discharging debt video. We have less than 4 years, I think, before the U.S. dollar crashes. It went live, or less than 5 years. It went live January of this year. Basel IV compliance, which says that all banks have to have their currencies backed by some form of substance within the next 5 years. The U.S. dollar is not backed by substance. I do not think they are going to attempt to back the dollar by any form of substance. So I would say the U.S. dollar has less than 5 years to be the monopoly money of the land. You're welcome. That's what you... Yeah, I'm asking you, what are you trying to authenticate it for? What state? What state were you birthed in? Are you trying to set up... The only two reasons to authenticate a birth certificate is because you're going into the DTC to claim 1/10 of your estate, or you are leaving the country to live somewhere else. So you pick which one you want and then go from there. If, you know what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's up to you. What template or title of conveyance of offspring, BC, and living trust? Birth certificate. That is a confusing statement. I do apologize. Neosho. I live in Neosho, Missouri, DTC. Okay, so watch my. You just saw. You want to authenticate it in Do they say you have to authenticate it to a different state? Because then you could just pick anywhere. You could pick. I would choose Britain, because that's the true controllers of it. I would just choose Britain if you're trying to go into the DTC, because the U.S. citizen is an underwriter for the British. Or it's not an underwriter. Yeah. Hold on. I can't remember. Watch my video on the 10 things that a birth certificate is, by the way. What's the name of the template to use in order to convey offspring? Birth certificate. So the birth certificate is controlled by the state. It is not your property. Like any other public controlled bankrupt corporation that allows you to put property in trust, when you put a car into a trust, it is still somebody else's property. You just have protection by using the state's codes and law statutes. The birth certificate is not your property. You don't control it. It does belong to the state. They allow you to do certain benefits with it if you want, but that's your choice. You can't put your children's birth certificates in a trust. I mean, you can, but it's someone else's property. So I don't know what you're trying to do with that. The DTC is the Depository Trust Company, and they funnel and liquidate and monetize and bond and secure. I think it's something like 68 countries' securities. Not countries. Yeah. I hate misspeaking. $65 countries. Dang it, I was close. 65 countries go through the DTC. Yeah, so the kids are not the birth certificate, and it's not the title of the kids. Everybody's confused into thinking that the birth certificate is the title of the children, but it's not. You can create your own title, your affidavit of ownership over the children if you want, to get to have true title over the children. The U.S. citizen is just it's just a corporation. It's it. And putting the legal title of the birth certificate into a trust does not give you any control over the trust. It belongs to somebody else. You're just the trustee / one of the beneficiaries, and not a big beneficiary. You can claim the equitable side, and you'll be the biggest beneficiary, or use the equitable side. Kills me. It feels good to catch up. It's 4:22. I might be getting off of here soon. I hope your explanation there helps them. I assume that's what they're thinking. I appreciate the help for trying to help me understand about the BC. And sometimes I forget that not everybody, is understanding on what level they are when they come on here, and it can drown people very quickly when they come on here and I start talking about discharging court cases or trusts, or we're all being tricked into being banks and blah blah blah. You've gone live for 90 minutes. TikTok just thanked me for going live for 90 minutes. Thank you, TikTok. Can you direct me to Equitable Remedies with BC? I suggest that you watch my playlist, please. It might help understand some things. So start with foundations, then move to nature, and then move to spirit, and then move to commerce. And that should... You can discharge debts publicly or privately. I actually kind of like this song. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm here to try to help. Just a servant. I ain't nothing major. I'm playing in minor league. All right. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope you're enjoying. Hope y'all have some good plans. I'm probably going to drink a little wine. I used to go on. I used to grill, and I would get sloshed a little bit, and I'd be on here speaking all this stuff, and y'all would get some gold. Thanks, IB Negan. I'm glad you got the gift. Send a hot dog. I'm getting more gifts from you I ain't never seen before. You're getting ice creams and basketballs, and I appreciate you, brother. Oh, thanks. My day job, I'm a property manager. I manage properties. I am not in Canada. I am in Virginia. I manage properties. Yes, I do. I've been studying nature for 40 years since I was born. Spirituality heavily for 13. Commerce for 10. Delicate situation, I would like a word. All right, you can DM me if you want for delicate situation words. Thank you, Veronica. You go, girl. I appreciate you riding with me, riding dirty with me too, Veronica. You're one of my ace boon coons. So you are. I am that I am. I have a national corporation that is a Virginian. I also have a sovereign entity. Well, I'm a 30 life raft buddy, BB63. Watch my playlist. Start from foundation, move to nature, move to spirit, and then move to commerce. And I always want people to move through spirit before going to commerce, because if you jump from nature to commerce, you're going to start serving the wrong master. I don't know what you mean by UCC process. I'm familiar with the UCC codes, which is private and copywritten, and all the states have codified it, and it is basically recognized and respected on every continent. I don't know if it's like somebody just asked, is Canada UCC? I think it's a UCC 1 is internationally acknowledged and recognized through all continents of the world, but I don't know if they've codified the UCC. Like, I know that, like I said, every state has codified it and incorporated it, and sometimes they change the numbers a little bit or add a special insignia to it or something, but it's basically the same codes as the agreed upon common code of the land. I'm gonna start calling it common code of the land instead of common law, because some people try to say it's common law because everybody uses it, but I don't think that's good common law. That's not good etiquette. I'm gonna start calling it the common code of the land. No, I should call it the common code of the water, actually. Common code of the water. I like that. We're learning. UCC, common code of the water. Difference between legal and lawful. Lawful is just and right and based on spirit and truth and honor and admiralty. Legal is only carrying what is written down and enforced through contracts like that. So, like when you go in front of a judge, he doesn't care about the case. He just knows that he has to sentence you to this long, give you this much time, and charge you this much. That's legal. It's not lawful. It's just basically like, all right, you're charged with this, move on. You're charged with this, move on. Like he's just fleecing sheep. There is common law. You have to invoke it. You can invoke it. You can get a book on common law if you want to. Common Code of Commerce. I like that. CCCC. It's called the Commercial Code. I think UCC 1 is Uniform Commercial Code. So I would rather call it the Common Code of Underwater. UCC. Underwater Common Code. Common Code of the Underwater. UCC, Underwater Common Code. Why do the courts not want to deal with Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, Indians not taxed? Probably because you're dealing with a corporation. You're trying to come in there with a corporation that they have jurisdiction over, that you're doing commerce with. And when you start using a corporation that is under the jurisdiction of other people, they can do all kinds of stuff with it. But anyway, I might get off of here soon. So if y'all got any questions, because it's Friday, about to have a little bit of wine. I need to stop drinking. I just kind of look forward to it a little bit. But it definitely it takes away my peace. Like I'd be much more like peaceful and calm. And then when I drink something, I get a little more irritable. Like it's easier to like snap or not be as peaceful, I will say. Indians not taxed as under jurisdiction. If the Indian is using a corporation to do commerce with, then it is subject to laws that people that get benefits. Yes, you can claim you can't claim it. You can use it in different ways. They allow you to use that limited liability corporation, franchise, bankrupt limited liability corporation in a lot of different ways. The U.S. citizen, but you can't control it. You can only use it. It's just a tool. Just a tool, man. So what I'm asking you, I don't know how well versed you are in engaging in commerce, but does the Indian have a tax identification number that is not basically under U.S. jurisdiction? No. So are you talking about a human? There's a lot of topics. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff. Right now I'm trying to see if this Indian, or sorry, I'm talking like this, if there's an Indian that knows how to be a sovereign while engaging in non-profit commerce. Alright, so you're Indian. So maybe we should DM a little bit, or you should maybe watch my playlist to get somewhat of a grip. How do you get out of this jurisdiction? So it's all smoke and mirrors. We're not really under their jurisdiction. They only have jurisdiction over the corporation that they create. So the U.S. citizen and the state citizen, they have jurisdiction over. And if an Indian or a true American, I want to. You are an actual true American if you're an Indian, and much respect to you, a real American. So what you want to do, Clay, is search British Accreditation Registry, and you'll find books on it, and you'll find other things. It takes like 30 seconds to do that. I had somebody come on my on my video and say that there's no evidence to prove that Barb, and I sent like 3 websites and books within 30 seconds, and they're like, okay, I take that back. You got me, but there's no historical proof. And I didn't even respond after that anymore. I'm like, do more research if you're gonna try to come at me like that. Yes, you are a true American. You're awesome, by the way, and I love real Americans, true Americans, and my condolences for what the forefathers did. It's terrible. I read things and how stuff was handled, and I don't like what the colonists did. Like, the last thing on earth I do is celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm just throw that out there. Like, that's anyway. Love you guys. Where did you learn all that you know? I want to learn myself. So watch my playlist will help. Lots of years, lots of teachers, lots of studying, lots of books.
But at the same time, we also
thank you.
Are naturally curious.
I appreciate
God, you push at the corners.
I appreciate you appreciating me, appreciating each other.
How do you find the little dark parts? As engineers,
Arbitrations. So if you're under contractual obligations to an arbitration that has been picked specifically, then you have to understand the rules of the court of whatever jurisdiction the arbitration is in. So everybody who's got a court case, guess what? You can go online, you can find all the rules to how the court, nobody does this or cares or wants to learn or read, but all the stuff that I'm telling you, every court has their own set of published rules. You have to. If you're going to create your own court, which you can create your own sovereign entity, create your own money, your own government, your own court, You have to have a published set of rules on how to interact, to have like a tribunal or whatever you want. And when you go to a court, it's all public knowledge that you can access. Ooh, have I ever been battle tested in court? No, unfortunately, I went through some court cases before I learned all this, and I went to jail, and I felt like a cattle, and I knew something wasn't right, and I didn't start learning any of this until I got out and started. Somebody said, "Can you look up my QSIP number?" And then that's how I found out about the straw man. And then I'd already known about spirit, so I knew nature, and everybody knows nature, right? It's easy. Then I knew about spirit, from a long time ago, but didn't study it. And then when someone said look up the QSIP number, I saw the straw man, and then the floodgates opened on commerce. Like it tied everything together. Everything is nature, spirit, and commerce, except for one thing. That's not that thing. Which nobody. I'll ask every time if anybody can think of one thing that is not nature, spirit, and commerce. We'll do thanks. 30 hours into learning. Oh wow, yeah, you got a little bit of ways to go. Watch my playlist. Yep. Don't celebrate. Yeah, I don't celebrate any holiday. The only one I actually celebrate for fun is Independence Day, which is funny to me because I know independence wasn't achieved on 1776. It was really achieved on 1783. So for fun, on Independence Day, I will celebrate when America attempted to break free from the colony and from the king, and when they broke free, the king still retained the position of arch treasurer and prince elector, so they never even got true sovereignty, because you can't break away or succeed from a state or nation while you're owing in debt as an indentured servant, and that's what they did. And in fact, during the War of 1812, when they refused to recharter the Bank of the United States, the colony or the British came in here and started taking all of the titles out of all of the courthouses and burning them all, because they refused to reissue the charter. Britain has owned the U.S. from day one. As soon as the Virginia Company of London came over here, the Virginia Company. Think about that. I will teach you anything you want, Queenie, day or night. Just all you gotta do is ask. You know that. You have an arbitration schedule in Burbank, so go on the Burbank arbitration website, learn the rules. You can figure out how to engage and conduct in commerce, and you'll be good. Why would you create your own government? Well, because you control what you create. Like the U.S. citizen was created by the U.S. state that you were birthed in. You control what you create. And if you want to be self-governing, you want to create your own government. You got one in Colorado. I'm not 100% sure how to find the bonds in the court case. I know the clerk of the court can point you in the right direction because she's the CFO. You're not a person, but the law of the land. So we're all people, but we're tricked into, and I don't want to say your name wrong, Mimilomak. Oh man, it's beautiful. Your name is beautiful, and I'm a butcher it, so I don't want to do it. We're all tricked into thinking that we're corporations. We're all people, though. We're all tricked into using commerce without knowledge of how commerce works. True possession is. So there's a difference between control. There's a difference between control and ownership. When you do like a mortgage, they define you as a tenant or a renter, basically on their property. They control it. Same thing with a car. When you get a car, you don't have the controlling title of it. You have the legal title, which allows you to do a lot of stuff. You're one of the beneficiaries on it, but you basically have the trustee legal title to do all the duties and obligations of it. Nature, spirit, and commerce entity? Question mark? Is that the one that you're trying to say that is not any of those? Monster Morgan. Put your pinky rings up to the moon. It's Friday. I just read. Okay, yeah. Strong man's interesting. Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to speak with you, Chief. What tribe? Where can we start to learn? Because I feel like everything is scattered. So start watching my playlist to begin with. Start watching Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and then Commerce. Hey, K-Sweets. What if clerk just says to talk to a lawyer and won't? Then you tell them you are a lawyer, because the definition of lawyer is one who has learned in the law, and you know that every court case is backed by a bid bond, a performance bond, and a payment bond. And depending on what you're trying to do, you have a right to know that. What y'all trying to do? You get controlling title of your car by obtaining the MSO on a brand new car that has never been before registered, by paying it full outright, not getting a bank lien on it, and then saying you're taking it out of that state to another country. And then you'll have to sign that it's not going to be engaged on the road. And then you'll get the true title to it, MSO, aka. If a car is ever registered, you can get a duplicate MSO, but it's still not your property anymore at that point. But I am a Florida. Cool. If you were naturalized in Florida, you are you have a U.S. citizen and a state citizen, and you can owe allegiance to the sovereign Republic of Florida and have a national corporation that's outside of U.S. jurisdiction. Spirit and soul are different things. All right, I will tell you, since you're the only one, the only thing that is not, and it took me a long time to figure this out, the only thing that I could think of that is not dealing with nature, spirit, and commerce is people that don't know it exists. So it is still there, but when I talk to someone that has no clue about nature, spirit, or commerce, in their world and in their consciousness, not the subconscious, but in their conscious, it doesn't exist. So that is the only thing. Now, of course, the creator is outside of everything and inside, but the only thing I could think of that is not nature, spirit, or commerce is a person that has no knowledge of such. They are actually outside, because to them it doesn't exist. What was meant by frolic in the sand? I was saying that if I get to know you, because a lot of people are like, hey, let's hang out, like just random people, and I'll be like, yeah, if I get to know you, you know what I'm saying, we can hang out. That was the frolic in the sand. But I was shooting a shot at somebody in specific, and they know who they are, but they might not have been on here. I don't know. All right, did you register your car with the certified? It don't matter if you register your car with certified mail or not. If it's registered to the state, they have controlling title. Choctaw, cool. Yeah, don't be mad. So here's what happens to a lot of patriots. Don't say you're a patriot, but that's what a lot of people call them. We're sovereign citizens. They figure everything out and they get mad and they want to fight the system. You don't want to be an enemy. You don't want to be a belligerent. It's tough to try to figure out this all been smoke and mirrors, but you got to understand that the system is in place for a purpose and a reason. We created it. We wanted it. It didn't just happen overnight. People made it happen. There are influences from principalities and spirits and stuff like that, but the system is it's a double-edged sword. It's good. It kind of forces people to get out and do something and be productive, but for-profit corporations harm the public, and they tell you right in the IRS code, if you're doing nonprofit, they're not going to tax you. So why isn't everybody doing nonprofit? You see pastors walking around here buying Learjets and stuff like that. You obviously can make good money doing nonprofit. Why is everybody engaged in profit? You don't have to be. Do nonprofit. You won't pay taxes. And don't be mad at the police and stuff like I said, but you always got to come from peace and love. Like, a lot of people want to be combative, and that's not a good idea. So there's different things. There's post office, postal union. There's I'm not super well versed in the postal stuff, but it's the postal system is amazing. It's backed by gold. The what you call it, the money orders are, stuff like that. But I'm probably going to wrap up, guys, because it's close to my quitting time, and I think I got to go try to find some more bottled water, some spring water, which is naturally pH for our bodies. Sorry if I missed any questions. I love you all. Thanks for the likes and the love, and I will see y'all later. DM me if you get a chance.